The freeway out here is our most dangerous call that we go on.
As the incidents increase, the danger for our responders on that stretch of I-90 has increased.
We don't have the fiscal resources to be able to buy simple things like bunker gear.
We need to protect our firefighters, provide them the best training possible, and give them the best tools and apparatus. If we can't outfit them from the boots up to rolling to the scene, we're not going to be any good to anybody. Yeah, we're not going to be any good to help anybody that we're responding to. We're not finished until I can look everybody in the eye and honestly say, everything that could have been done was done.
Davis Law Group has been advocating for accident victims in the state of Washington for more than 20 years. And as a firm, we're always focused on the recovery of our clients. My husband Chris and our legal staff have been working alongside accident victims every day who have been touched by countless first responders and caregivers in their time of need. In an effort to recognize these heroes and feature groups and organizations that are making a difference, Davis Law Group is launching the Focus on Recovery video series. In this episode, we will be featuring the work of Cheri Marusa and her organization Life Support I-90. Through their work to bring much-needed funds and infrastructure to the I-90 corridor, the ever-growing number of drivers traveling through the heart of our state are receiving life-saving care faster than ever.
One day, I got a call from Chief Craig McKee from Easton. And I was waitressing on shift, and he says, hey, there's been an accident, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, and can you help? And not knowing the whole situation, I rendezvoused with them, and it was a young girl who had a choking experience. She was 14 months old, and she didn't make it. And the grief on the parent's face was overwhelming. And the mother just kept saying, why? I called 911. And from that moment on, I told my husband, never again will anyone say, why? I called 911 and I don't have an answer. So I just started having those conversations of what's really going on up here? What are our challenges? What do you mean we don't have pediatric equipment? We don't have a Jaws of Life. We don't have a helipad for airlift to land in. And all of a sudden, being local, born and raised here generationally, it was just stuff I didn't even know, right, existed. Because we have enough to help each other, our neighbors, our community, our friends. But the impacts of people recreating, camping, traveling I-90, it was just beginning to where we're at today, 20 years later, right? And so I just called on my girlfriends and said, we need to do something. Let's start a nonprofit. And we will learn everything we need to do, and Life Support was born.
I met Cheri about 4 or 5 years ago when I became fire chief for Fire District 7. And that's when I met her and had a full understanding of all the stuff that Cheri does, which is a lot. It's amazing, actually.
Kittitas County is just beautiful by nature and the landscape. And growing up, we've all known people love to come recreate here, fish here, snowmobile here, because we all enjoy the outdoors and the 4 seasons. But each year you see that growth, right? You see more houses being built and more people coming over to enjoy. And then with that comes the traffic on I-90 and more impact. And it's like, welcome, come and play, but you know there's always that risk factor. The gap is, it's people from around the state, whether it's Eastern Washington or the suburbs, or if it's King County, Pierce County, Snohomish County, it's happening, right? They all want to come over this way. They love to recreate. We welcome them. I figure anyone who moves over here or comes over, they're our neighbor, right? But how do we ensure that they commute to work? It's business. It's the kids going to school, their kids going back and forth to school. or whether you live here, how do we ensure that when you call on 911, we can address your issue and do what needs to be done?
Well, I think it would be hard-pressed to find anybody in the Upper County that doesn't know about Cheri and the Life Support Fund. Cheri and her donors are passionate about the people of the Upper County. They're passionate about helping their neighbors. They're passionate about making sure that the responders have the life-saving tools that they need to go out and take care of the community.
Isn't this great? So Life Support raised the funds last year. We listed our key donors to have the first ladder truck in Upper Kittitas County. It's the only ladder truck serving the entire region. We were on the home stretch and Puget Sound Energy Foundation brought it home for us. And so we're really proud of our donors and our supporters of Life Support, and really grateful to have this truck in service. And even the Kittitas County Fire Marshal, he wrote a letter to support our efforts to get this fire truck, and he duly noted, do you know the time lapse it would be to send a ladder truck over Snoqualmie Pass to respond to this region? We can't have that risk factor. Support Life Support, right? And so it was a call to action, and we have a ladder truck in service.
Resources like the fire district's new ladder truck are necessary not just for the protection of citizens being served, but also for the volunteers and firefighters who are putting their lives on the line every day.
I would say we're strained for resources. As the amount of incidents grow, we need EMTs, paramedics, firefighters to come to the scene, and we also need additional apparatus to protect us, to block the scene. We've had several incidents over the years where we have been struck at the scene of emergency. In fact, it happened to us at Snoqualmie Pass just 2 weeks ago. We were struck by a vehicle. So that's essentially what I'm looking at, is as the incidents increase, the danger for our responders on that stretch of I-90 has increased. And I'm trying to be proactive and get in front of that to make sure we don't have a line of duty death.
A set of bunker gear, which is the turnouts that firefighters wear, it runs about $2,800. Okay, so it's big, thick coats, big, thick pants. When we go into a house fire, the modern house is so filled with plastics that the firefighters get toxins on them. So when they come out of a fire, so that they can remain healthy, we take that bunker gear off, we wash it, and we make sure that the next time that they put that bunker gear on, they're not carrying toxins around.
The leading cause of death for firefighters right now is actually cancer. So it's not being hurt on the fire, it's not falling through any other hole in the building, not being burned. It's what happens later on after multiple calls when you're exposed to all the carcinogens that are involved in an active fire. So this is an extractor. So this is a super heavy duty washing machine. And what it does is it works at high speed to be able to extract all the carcinogens out of our bunker gear. If you talk to somebody who's been in the fire service for a long time, you say, what are you doing? Well, they say, I'm going to a lot of funerals. So that's our current push right now. It's cancer awareness. And this machine right here is a very, very important part to us preserving our safety in the long term.
And you know that until 2017, all of the volunteers have worn their turnout gear with all the carcinogens and everything on them, until Life Support raised the funds to buy the extractor washer and the extractor dryer unit, and Amazon funded both pieces for Life Support. Amazon stepped up at a real crucial time as well for us. It's been probably 6 years ago. There was an accident on I-90 and a car seat was without occupancy, so the volunteers didn't know if a child was actually ejected or not, so they shut down the freeway, and with flashlights, they're looking to see if a child was ejected out of that car seat. Do you know what we needed instead of flashlights? Thermal imaging cameras. I went home from that call going, you've got to be kidding me. If that was my kid, and they shut the freeway down, and the mother's not able to, the patient, the mother, wasn't able to say if a child was in the car or not, right? To verbally communicate with the firefighters, and you're looking with a flashlight? So the good thing was the State Patrol identified that there was no child in the car. But even when the guys all go back to the station, the guys and the girls go back to the station, like, what if? What if? Okay, we know it was determined that there's not, but what if? And it's like, dear Amazon, I can't sleep. This is fury, right? It just makes your gut turn. And we need thermal imaging cameras, please. And they arrived within a week. Yeah, it's been an effort from a lot of companies and a lot of people, but we got to bring it home now. There's no more time. I just feel like the hourglass is running out, and after this winter, again, there's no more time. We need help now to bring it home.
Life Support gets their funding through private donations and lobbying for public funds. However, the government support has not always been as reliable as one might think.
But we worked really hard to champion funding in Olympia to help us make a match of a grant we got to hire our first ever professional firefighters that can be right here in the station, ready to roll as the volunteers come from the surrounding areas, mutual aid, whatever the call is, right? You've got somebody rolling. And we were so thankful we were in the budget for the match to keep our 9 firefighters. And I never would have saw this coming in a million years. But our governor, for whatever reason, our leader for the state of Washington, vetoed it. Just vetoed it. And the reply was really, if we do it for one district, we have to probably do it for other fire districts across the state. And your local tax base should take care of it. Somebody said, aren't you mad? Aren't you gonna go raise holy hell? And I'm like, I can't be mad. I'm so numb. So you either go fight it or you rise above it. And by the grace of God, you just keep plowing forward and know that goodness is going to come out in the end. And we're going to achieve the goals, because it's not about goals for us. It's about goals for the state of Washington, period. For people to get involved with life support is more sometimes than when you're a nonprofit. They think, well, they'll just want us to write the check. You know, yeah, you need the check, but more so you want them engaged to really understand the day-to-day operations and really sacrifices that people in this community, the volunteer firefighters, have done 24/7, 365 days of the year for nothing. For the same principle of what's in us is that we care. And when you're called to service in this fire and EMS system, and sometimes the worst weather conditions, you realize it's not only our volunteers who are on the front line. I apologize that I get emotional, but it hurts that deeply to me, because your Washington State Patrol troopers are out there putting their lives on the line. Your Department of Transportation workers are out there. Your tow truck drivers are out there, all to respond to a 911 call to help somebody. That's heroism to me at its best.
Without life support, I can assure you, the majority of the Upper County Fire Departments would not have the significant life-saving tools that they have today.
If people are interested in helping, I highly recommend getting a hold of life support and doing whatever they can to assist Cheri and life support, and which ultimately helps us, the responders out there trying to take care of you guys.
On July 11th at Swiftwater Cellars Winery, we are hosting our 20th anniversary celebration of life support, and we're very thankful for the continued title sponsorship of Swedish and Providence Health System.